Hello and welcome to my dungeon. Today I'd like to share more writing advice, some tips and tricks to make writing fun, which will go a long way to help you form that habit, be consistent, and actually invest the hundreds and thousands of hours of work it takes to write a whole novel. But it's not work if it's fun, right? If that is something that interests you, like and subscribe. This channel is now moving towards 900 subscribers, which I'm very grateful for. It would be amazing if I could reach 1000, so please consider subscribing. And let's get into today's topic. Writing tips, make it fun. Again, I'm not pretending I don't have a script for this. Make it fun. This is probably a good tip for every work you have to do regularly. Make the task more fun. For example, when I'm cleaning, I always listen to audiobooks, and when I'm working out, I often listen to actual plays like Critical Role to make that task more fun. But while writing is a lot of work, it can be a fun and rewarding activity in and of itself. So let me give you a few tips how to make the most of it, how to bring out the inherent fun in this activity. You have to write about something you are passionate about, something that you love. Otherwise, you will resent having to work on your project. Don't let yourself be seduced to write what is popular at the time, chasing fame and fortune or likes on social media. Or write something that you think you have to write it, like a sequel, another entry in a series, just because all of your fans demand it. I mean, you can do all of these things, and you might actually find fame and fortune and financial success in doing so, but that doesn't make the writing process itself any more fun. You have to be able to write easily. So either you master machine writing, so you don't have to look on your fingers and you can look on the screen and it just flows naturally, or use a dictating software. I learned machine writing when I was 12. I worked for 2 weeks through a course book for machine writing during the fall break, and I've been glad for having done that ever since. But nowadays, voice recognition and dictating software is a real alternative. Nowadays it works really well. Here, let me show you the dictating function in Google. I'm not using it a lot because I'm machine writing, but this works fairly well. The good stuff about this function is that you can edit while you're using the speed function. I mean, like most people, you can probably talk faster than you can write. So can I, and I can write quite fast if I do say so myself. Actually, now that I'm trying this out, I think I should use this when writing my next one page a day. Let's see how that improves or is a deterrent to my process. You can even dictate a whole novel while you're out hiking, and then run it through a word processor when you're back home. By the way, tangent here, hiking and walking is a great activity to get some ideas, to get your creative process flowing. For one, movement gets your blood flowing and the changing scenery gets your mind moving. But maybe more importantly, it gives you a moment of time, a bit of time where your brain, where your mind has nothing better to do than think about stuff. Unless you're listening to a podcast or an audiobook. While if you want to use this time or any time to think about your creative projects, I suggest only listening to music or to listen to nothing at all. Allow yourself some quiet time. That's actually an important point. You need quiet time to work creatively. Time for yourself with nothing else to distract you from your own thoughts. Incidentally, I get a lot of my ideas when walking, on the toilet, or when I'm lying in bed unable to sleep. The constant bombardment of media we are under nowadays is the kryptonite of creativity. You can't hear your own thoughts when you are listening to someone else's. So allow yourself to have some quiet time, even if it seems boring at first. Nowadays, I'm seldom bored because if I'm doing nothing, I can think about the stories I'm working on and come up with engaging scenes. I can play them out like a movie in my own theater of the mind. Honestly, I'm only bored if I can't do that. If my surroundings are too loud to focus on my own thoughts, or because I'm sitting in a boring meeting or something and have to feign interest. Don't try to write a good novel. That might sound counterintuitive, since it's the end goal, isn't it? Writing a good novel. But if you pressure yourself too much while writing, then it will become stressful and you will become anxious about writing, and your brain will try to save you from that stressful activity, and you will find yourself procrastinating instead of writing. So to avoid that problem, just tell yourself that you're just writing for fun and that you have no aspirations at all. The quality of the writing and the good story will come on its own through practice, through continued writing, and through the editing process. You got to be in the right frame of mind for writing. That's what I've learned in school is called Muse, or maybe pronounce it more German, Muse, though it's a Greek word, but I learned it in German in school, of course. Muse is the time that you have to work creatively. The time you have where you don't have to do something else that is more important. Old Greek philosophers got their muse by being sponsored by a king or a similar rich benefactor. So they didn't have to work on the field. I suspect you don't have that luxury, and neither do I. Not until we actually sell a lot of books or have hundreds of supporters on Patreon. I'm still reserving an hour every day for writing, but I make sure that I've done all of my work and all of my chores beforehand. So that hour comes out of my video game or Netflix time. But since I'm having fun, I don't mind. Sometimes I'm happy to write for 2 or 3 hours. Other days, though, I'm still unmotivated. Then I try to trick myself. Tell myself I only have to write a single sentence. Or I work on another aspect of the writing, like I work on character, come up with a few locations, or just do some editing on one of my previous stories instead. Sometimes when you feel you've written too long on one project and you feel like you're in a rut, it helps to work on another project, on a short project. For example, while writing my last book, that is not out yet, but I finished writing the first draft. While doing that, after about 100 pages or so, it started to become tedious. So I wrote a short 20-page story about something else entirely in between, so that when I came back to the long story, I felt fresh and motivated again. Now, you might say that in the evening, after a long day of work, you're just too tired to work creatively. And I feel you, I get that too. What I do though, to find the extra energy, is power napping. I just lay down on bed for 20 minutes, just long enough to fall asleep, and after that, I become awake again and alert once more and have the energy to write for 1 or 2 hours. Before I'm spent. Really, napping has become a beloved habit of mine. I'm useless if I don't have this 20 minutes of rest in the evening, and I can't do anything but watch Netflix or browse through YouTube videos. Napping has become a game changer for me, for my creative work, and I would suggest you try it out too. Just let yourself rest for 20 minutes or less, so you don't fall into deep sleep. Then force yourself to get back up. Don't nap for too long, or it will make you feel more tired. If you're exhausted though, you can sleep several intervals of 20 minutes. But you have to wake up and reset your alarm clock every time, or you will fall into that deep sleep. You can probably find a lot of great videos here on YouTube about power napping and sleep cycles. As I said, writing can be fun and it is rewarding in and of itself, but you can enhance that activity by some complementary activities. Brew yourself a cup of your favorite tea or coffee so you can sip on it while you're writing. Caffeine makes you more alert, so that can help you to concentrate. Just make sure you're not drinking caffeine too late in the day or you won't be able to sleep at night. That's why I prefer black tea to coffee in the evenings. Put on some music while you're writing. Ambience music without any lyrics is the best. No podcasts, nothing with words in it that could distract you from your own words you're trying to put on the page. I like to use my RPG playlist with ambient music. I have several of these, and depending on the mood of the scene I'm writing, I'm putting the respective playlists on. That way, I can have the fitting background music for whatever scene I'm writing. And I'm always fired up for action scenes when the doom music kicks in. BFG division. So, these are all of my tricks to make writing more fun. If you have other tricks, please share them with everyone down in the comments below. Also, maybe check out the books I've written in links in the video description. As always, thanks for watching and until next time.